Welcome to Freethinkers Fireside, where we put the human in humanists, one cozy chat at a time. My name is Helen, also known as Hell's Bells. It is Thursday, April 23rd. I don't know why I'm saying the date. I never usually say the date on the show, but we're doing it today. The reason why I'm doing it is because in 2 months, the revival of reason for Black non-believers are coming up. So I have stuff to show. So we're gonna do that. so anyway, okay, listen, all mofos. Okay, what you're gonna do? I have a link to the Black non-believers thing in my doobly doo. Okay, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to the website and we're gonna do this is where you can buy your tickets. Okay, so that's important. But then I'm gonna put this QR code up, but also we're raising money. Because know why we're raising money? Because we gotta raise money. And I am doing the social media takeover for the event, and I'm going to show my heart out. So here is the QR code. So I would let me share my screen again. I was not a professional. I don't do this very much, guys, so don't expect a lot. So anyway, okay. So then what you're going to do, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. No, I don't want that. I don't want that either. I want this. I want the picture. Okay, never mind. Okay, so what you're going to do is that I was trying to share the QR code, but it doesn't want to let me do it. So, slides. Here we go. Go. Okay, there. Aha. 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 I think I did something. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, so when I get this QR code thing figured out, because I'm a ding dong, we'll get Scott on because we're going to talk about AI and why he tells us all who he is. If you have not seen Scott before, and that's in any capacity on the interwebs, I'm so sorry for you. Anyway, missed out. Anyway.
You know, I'm really nothing special, but I love getting out there and talking about shit, and so I figured this would be a good place to hang out with you. If you do want to see me talking about shit in other contexts, I am one of the hosts on the Talk Heathen show, available right here on the YouTubes. Also, I'm occasionally on some of the other Atheist Community of Austin shows, but primarily just Talk Heathen. And I like to spend a lot of time supporting my friends' shows and talking about cool stuff with cool people. And so that's what brought me here.
Okay, so I figured out the QR thing, so we're going to do it.
All right. Well, I was giving you, I was falling over giving you compliments while you were doing that.
You were. I appreciate that. So anyway, okay, y'all. It's 15 years for 50K. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're gonna share this. You're gonna screenshot it and share it so we can raise money. Okay, so and be really annoying about it. And donate. You don't have to donate right now. The revival of reason is until the weekend of June 12th to the 14th. In the meantime, I will be having a whole bunch of guests on my show. I'm going to have Heaven Meta on. I'm going to have John Gleason on. I'm going to have Mendiza and Cynthia and some other really great speakers that are going to be at the event. So,
all right,
please, I'm going to show it again. See, we're going to 50K for 15 years. So,
what does that mean? What does it mean for 15 years? Is this 15-year anniversary?
It's Black non-believers.
Okay,
15 years anniversary. So
we're celebrating 15 years and hoping for 1,500 more
50K,
years.
guys. Money.
Yes, definitely.
Raise all the atheist money. That's my job. That's my due.
All right. And you take your job
and
seriously.
I have to show you the graphic that Mendiza made for me. It's really cute. So I'm just sharing. I'm just saying, like, it's really cute. So because I have an ego. So that's what. So yeah, social media takeover me.
Nailed it. You should have used the headshot of your D&D character that has the tattoo.
I should have. Yeah, I know, but okay, she has the cool tattoo on her face, and then like I can't rival that. So and then she's gonna be cooler than me because she got like the face tattoo, and it's one of those good tattoos. Like I was watching some dude on a YouTube video got torn apart by females. It was beautiful. Anyway, he had like a full face and a grill, and he's all like 9 years old and like super skinny. And I'm like, you're gonna hate that when you're trying to be an adult and getting an actual job.
So if you had a cool dragon tattoo, like
exactly,
right, then that's good for all ages.
It is. It is. I know. It's shocking. But there are people out there that are cooler than me. I know.
I would argue with that, but we'll see. We'll take those as they come up, right? Take it case by case basis.
Right. Exactly. So anyway, hello, Not So Gooder. Hi, Bree. Hi, Felicia. Hi, Kyle. Hi. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. So we're going to talk about AI. I was telling you when we were playing D&D last week that I was like, well, I'm not that concerned. Like, I'm concerned, but not like existential crisis concerned. And you're going to give me reasons why I should be existentially crisis concerned. So this will be a good show.
Oh, okay. You want to dive into that first, or you want to?
Yeah, let's ease it in. Like, let's do the foreplay first, okay?
Okay, all right.
Before we start fucking people. All right, let's start at the beginning.
Well, before we start, I mean, many of you might have seen me, talking about atheist stuff, but you probably don't know that as an undergrad, I was a computer science major and I was actually studying AI. Now, I don't want to give the impression that I think I'm any kind of an expert at all. This was back in the late 80s. And I didn't continue my computer science studies after that. But I bring that up, though, to indicate that this is an area of interest of me. And so I like talking about it. And I do have some opinions of some risks that are coming up that we're going to be facing very soon. But we can talk about that. Like Helen, like you said, we'll kind of ease into the danger stuff. We don't want everybody.
Well, we're going to ease in. It's all about
dread, right?
Yes, like I like to ease into my existential dread, because if we just jump in, it's just bad.
Right. Well, maybe what we can do first then is I can just talk about what do I think artificial intelligence means, and really, and again, this is really leaning on kind of my studies early on, and then of course following just as an interested party in the last few years. But it's really just a computer or some non-human or non-animal system making decisions based off of information that it gathers. So we kind of do that. We have natural intelligence in us, and we walk the earth, and we make decisions as we gather information, we decide things, we have goals, and so forth. And so some of the earliest stuff that I was studying, we had very basic artificial intelligence back then, and we called we lost Helen there, and darkness fell. There you are. Okay. We called expert systems, and what expert systems were is they were very narrow, and they could gather information and apply expert level decision-making process on that as we go. Are we having technical difficulties? The computers don't want us talking about this.
No, they didn't want to. No, I was checking my audio and I accidentally turned it off. And when I turn off my audio, it will shrink the screen. So so you're the prominent speaker. So that's
exactly what Skynet wants you to believe.
It is Skynet. I'm telling you, Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to come back.
Right.
Kill Sarah Sarah Connor, or be a surrogate father to her son and fight one of the coolest CGI villains.
Yep.
Yeah, like I love it. Like that whole movie, when I saw it as a teenager, I was like, this fucking movie's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have not seen T2, you can watch T1. Like T1's fine. T2 is a really good movie, and it's a James Cameron movie. And it's the first one's a James Cameron movie, but this is a better James Cameron movie because he had a budget.
Yep, he had a budget because he was standing on the shoulders of the previous movie, right? So they had a big success with it, and they thought, hey, let's throw more money at it. So yeah,
right. So okay, so
anyway, I was saying, like, very primitive artificial intelligence was just like, for example, some of the expert systems that we were talking about when I was taking classes were things like there was a system that could read X-rays. They found that human radiologists frequently made mistakes. There was systematic errors in the way that they were approaching it, and that way. And so when they applied artificial intelligence procedures to the image, they could spot things like tumors and so forth much more accurately. Mm-hmm. And they would also do things like oil companies would hire programmers to design expert systems to help them find where to drill. And so they would input various information from the environment, and it would say, oh, yeah, you're likely to find oil if you drill here, et cetera, et cetera. But since then, you can imagine that was 40 years ago. Okay, we had computers that within a limited domain could make better decisions than a human being. Right. And so that's kind of why it got that label intelligence, because it was using information from the environment to make decisions and then acting on that decision. And so in the past 40 years, geez, it's been 40 years.
I know. I was
freaking old, man. I'm freaking old, like, right?
No, I just celebrated my birthday, and I'm gonna be 50 next year. And
you're still young, and you're still young in there.
I know. Well, I'm like, listen, if the fact that I made it this long around the sun and didn't decide to, like, that means
glad
that
you didn't.
I am.
But we're only as old as we feel,
out of spite, motherfuckers. I'm surviving out of spite, because if the robots take over, I'm going to be fucking angry about it and rebellious.
Somebody's got to be, man. Somebody's got to.
I know. Somebody's got to fight him. Somebody's got to be John Connor.
Okay, so I want to lay the groundwork here for you, and I want to tell you a little story. So I'm going to take you through several steps, and then I'm going to kind of connect it all at the end here. And I want to start with people, right? So you're Helen, you're married. I'm married, and most of us have people that are close to us that we know very well. Maybe we live with them, maybe we grew up with them, or whatever. But would you say that you are at least pretty good at predicting what your spouse will do, like in a given situation? Like if you go to a restaurant, can you predict better than random chance what they're going to order? Or if they saw something on the street, could you predict with a better than average chance what they were how they would react to it and that kind of thing? What would they do and so forth? Yeah. And I think most people would say the same thing about other people that are close to them. And it's not because of any magic or anything. It's not because you are influencing them and all. It's because you know them. You've seen them react in lots of different situations. You've noticed patterns. Okay, and that's key there, pattern matching. And that way, and so when you notice those patterns in behavior, and more importantly, if you notice patterns in the way that people respond to things, then you can use that information to create those situations to make them respond in a particular way. Right. So for example, and we all do this too, right? We all think my spouse wants to do this. I want to do this. I'm going to try to talk them into, or coerce them, or I'll be nice to them, or so forth. And I'm going to try to get them to do what I want to do. All right. We got a good audience today. By the way, speaking of audience today.
Linda and I have been friends for several years since we were volunteered at RFR together. And this is our first time in my chat. So hi.
Awesome.
I'm very excited. So thank you. Cool. I need one more sub, guys.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, one. Come on, people.
If you would not subscribe, or grab a friend. Grab one of your friends to go. You just have to subscribe to my friend's channel. Why?
Yep. I see 11 people are watching the show now. And so if one of those 11 people is not a subscriber, here's your chance to be the hero here. So go ahead and
you mean cool, because I do plan to do something. I don't know what yet.
Yeah,
I was going to do a fundraiser, but I'm already doing the one. Well, I'm not already doing the one. I'm doing the one for Black non-believers. I'm shilling it again. Link to Black non-believers website is in my doobly-doo. And the Revival of Reason is in the doobly-doo. So you click on it, and there's also a link to give to the fundraiser. So you do both. Even if it's like $5. Like, instead of going to Starbucks, or not going to Starbucks anyway. They don't want to let people boycott. I mean, form unions. Starbucks doesn't let you form unions. So you're not going to take that $5 and give it to people that will not let people form unions. And you're going to give it to Black non-believers. That's what you're going to do because I'm your dom. Listen to me. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead, Scott.
I still see the numbers at $2.99. So everybody watching now must already be subscribers. But as I was saying, so that I did give a rather limited description of AI as it was in the state when I was studying it 40 years ago.
When you were younger.
When I was a kid. 40 years ago. I was just a little youngster.
We were children.
I was, in my 20s, but I looked like I was in my teens, and so that was way long time ago. So yes, I agree with the commenter. The description that I gave is rather outdated, but I'll be getting there. So you could manipulate your husband or best friend or child or whatever because you know them well, and you know the kind of things you need to say to them to make them do what you want to do.
Right.
Okay. So set that aside for a second. And there is a mentalist called Darren Brown, and he's a stage magician, and actually he has lots of videos out of him debunking things and so on. Okay. All right. I didn't mean to overstate it there.
Okay. Go ahead. So go ahead.
That's fine. So Darren Brown produced 2 full movie length videos, and I think they're on Netflix. The first one was called The Push, and the second one was, I can't remember what it was called. Maybe if somebody in the chat saw it, then they could remind me. But the idea. So let's talk about The Push first here. Yes, definitely all love here. That's not taken personally. All right, so in The Push, the idea is that, and I'm not going to spoil the ending of the show, by the way, but the idea behind the show is that Darren Brown and his associates they kind of set up this situation where they were going to try to get somebody to murder somebody else. They wanted to know, can just a regular person off the street be talked into murdering somebody else? And so the whole show was about, they had this guy, they picked him randomly out of the crowd, I'm sorry. No, it wasn't randomly out of the crowd. The person had volunteered for some other, some kind of experiment or something, or some kind of thing. And they didn't tell him it was this. And so they had kind of some tacit agreement from the participant, but the idea was that the person didn't know what was going to be happening. And so over the course of a day, they staged these interactions with this guy. They staged, things happen like, oops, we accidentally knocked this person over, or oops, you accidentally, said something to the wrong person, and so on. And so they had these carefully scripted responses with the intention was that every interaction with him was going to nudge him closer to murdering somebody at the end of the show. And so, and again, it is. But what's really concerning is, and I'm not going to spoil the ending here, but they did this to more than one person. And so there are multiple endings here. But they were able to really get this guy to do things that he wouldn't have normally done. Now, I'm not saying whether, the killing actually happened, but it the show really showed how by psychological manipulation, people can be pushed way out of their comfort zones. I mean, each one just gives you a little bit of a nudge, and next thing you know, you're like, what the hell am I doing? I never would do this kind of thing. How did I get here? Kind of a situation.
Right. Yeah. It was kind of the premise, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to do
go for it.
Culture reference. And The Killing Joke, the Batman graphic comic, was basically Joker's philosophy is that one bad day will could cause someone to completely flip their marbles or be driven to a place that they want to kill someone.
Right.
I can imagine scenarios where I would probably harm someone that was going to harm like a family member, like, or my kids, especially my children, like that I understand, but I don't know what the nudge would be to get, because I'm so fucking sensitive and so worried about hurting people's feelings that I don't think like how
that
far would I
that whole caring and empathy thing just kind of gets in the way, doesn't it?
Well, also I have perceived rejection dysphoria because of my ADHD, where I will perceive rejection when there isn't any, and I want to fix it. So I'm like, am I going to just be too upset that I'm just going to become a people pleaser, and that will drive me crazy?
Right, yeah. So anyway, so the show goes on, and they have these different people, and they can make people act way different than their personalities. The other show was a similar idea that they were going to try to convince somebody to do something else. Yes, Kelly, I am subscribed. So I can't nudge us over the top myself.
No, I have 300 now.
I've already tried unsubscribing and resubscribing a whole bunch of times. And that didn't do anything.
I now have, I'm pretty sure I have 300, unless I'm just imagining it.
I must need to refresh here.
Hold on. Yes, I'm at 300. Suck it.
Party time. All right. You know, I'm going to take credit for it. I'm going to take credit.
That's right. That's why you're here. That's what you are, my DM and my friend and my good luck charm, Scott.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're ready to hit 400 or 500, give me a call. I'll hook you up. But no, okay. So in the other show that Darren made, it was kind of the reverse. He wanted to take somebody who was like a really hardcore bigot and see if and I think this person was a MAGA Trump supporter from like not Miami, but some kind of super red area of Florida. I know that Florida is quite red.
Throw a cat, you'll hit one.
Yeah. So anyway, but so in the second show, and I will spoil the ending on this one. So if you don't want to listen to it, then you've been warned. But in the second show, what he did was he wanted to take a hardcore bigot and see if he could convince him to take a bullet for an illegal immigrant, an undocumented immigrant. And so they went through this whole process. He was at like this, his car broke down on his way to an interview or something. And they were at like this biker bar, and that kind of set the stage for it. Like these bikers were trying to chase somebody who had damaged their motorcycle, or I can't remember the exact details, but it went through over the course of the day. And at the end of the show, at the end of it, at the climax of the show, the bikers were facing off with these, these immigrants in some field or something. And one of them pulls a gun and is going to shoot him. And the guy stepped in front of it. And would have taken a bullet. They even somehow they got the guy to switch his shirt or something. Like he was wearing somebody else's jacket or something like that. And so even when the guy pulled the trigger, a blood pack burst in his shirt. So the guy actually thought he had been shot. And so, yeah, so it was very impactful. And if you're looking for a good cry, if you need a good emotional catharsis, watch it, because it had a very huge impact on the guy. And but my point though is again, it shows that people can be convinced either in a negative or positive way to do things that are very against their usual nature. So let's take that fact coupled with the idea that we were talking about before, that the more you know about somebody, the more you're able to say those things that are going to nudge them in one direction or another. So now fast forward to today. So we talked about AI in the 80s. And so since then, our computers obviously have gotten much faster. The memory in our computers has gotten much larger. And more importantly, the amount of information that you can find on anybody has just skyrocketed. I mean, every thing you do on any kind of social media is being tracked to help you, right? To help them serve content that you will want to see and that kind of thing. And I think I'm starting to sound kind of like a cynic, but I am a little bit cynical on this.
I think we have healthy cynicism. Like
that could be.
like there's some things that I love AI for. Like I do sometimes with the algorithm, like I've been introduced to content creators that I wouldn't have done really, really good work that I wouldn't have clicked on until like it came up, and I'm like, oh, let's listen to this. They're talking about a topic I care about, and I'm like, oh, this is really well done, and then I subscribe. That's how this happens. You know, that's why we put tags in our stuff. But
we do it because it's convenient for us, right? We do that because we want to see.
But now the algorithm is like, I will also, but if you just like, if I watch two like flat Earth videos, I bet I will get conspiracy shit because if you've seen what is that documentary on Netflix about AI and social media.
Oh yeah, I remember. Shoot, I can't.
It was really good. I saw it. I just can't remember the name.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. Hold on. Anyway, keep talking. Okay, you talk while
anyway. So we've been gathering information. Not only does the main data gathering companies like Google and Facebook and et cetera, Twitter. Anything that you use on a frequent basis, it's just collecting more and more information about you, so that and we give it information because it helps us, which is fine. So there's a little bit of a carrot there to get that information. Yeah. Did you have a?
It's called the social dilemma. There you go.
The social dilemma. Yes. All right.
I put social media, and then I put N. It goes Netflix documentary. And I'm like, Other people were like, what?
There you go. What was that? So it's not so bad that you forgot the name, because everybody apparently is forgetting the name. Yeah. Okay. So
if you also watch The Social Network, the Michael Fishner movie, also disturbing.
Right.
They're both disturbing.
Weren't they coming out with another one? Weren't they going to have a sequel to The Social Network?
I think but I don't, because I remember right after that movie, a couple of years later, Mindhunter was he produced that TV show Mindhunter with Charlize Theron, and it's really good. It's really, really good. Jonathan Groff is in it. He plays the lead, and it's about the development of the FBI psychiatric behavioral unit in the 1970s, and they get actors to act like Edward Kemper. It is. It's like I love true crime, and it's so good. Like there's enough separation where I know it's fake because I don't actually want to listen to Edward Kemper talk at me ad nauseum. But to watch this, I was like, oh my god, this is so good. And so if you like true crime, just side note, guys, I highly recommend Mindhunter on Netflix. They only got 2 seasons. David Fincher wanted a 3rd season, but what happened is COVID. So, and then the funding fell away. So, but it's a really good show.
Cool.
Anyway, that was a sidebar on that. Anyway, back to AI.
Sidebars are part of the deal, right?
People come here for the rants and me, my ADHD taking control. Woo! Anyway, let's go.
You be you. Okay, so where was I? So we have all this information gathered about us, and so if you kind of follow my reasoning here, now these companies are going to get more and more accurate and more able to push us in a particular direction. It starts with advertising for products that we want. Hey, you should try this. Hey, you should try this. Hey. And so they're going to learn things like, hey, when I tell them that other people like it, they tend to buy it more often, because Amazon, of course, has all the information in there too. And so not only can they see how you react to different things, they can also compare you to a million other people that are almost identical to you, right? They have information not on you, but also on tons of other people. And so what they can say is, give me a list of 100 or 1,000 or whatever people that are like Helen. And then they can try stuff out, or they can look back. Maybe somebody that's very similar to you in the past faced a decision whether or not to vote, to the red or blue or whatever. And they found that a particular type of ad was effective with that person. Well, then they can come to the conclusion that, it must be effective with people like Helen too. So let's feed her that ad and manipulate how she's going to vote. And so there's all these people. It's a computer that knows as much about you as anybody, right? That also knows the exact sweet words to whisper into your ear to get you to choose one thing or the other, buy one product over the other, you know, participate in one protest over another, vote one candidate over another. Some of these things seem ridiculous. How can they convince me? Like me, I can't imagine somebody, coercing me or convincing me to vote for the pig that's in office right now. But I also wouldn't think that somebody could convince me to murder somebody. And so we see that we're more vulnerable to manipulation than we think. We are more freely open with sharing our information than we think, or than we want to be. The data gathering systems. I was responding
to you.
What's that?
I was going, I typed, right? And I turned my microphone off, and I was going to ask, I was like, and then I was going to ask you a question, and then I realized that my microphone wasn't on.
All right, hit me with it.
Professional.
Do you still have the question?
So, no, I don't. So anyway, we'll come back to me. Keep talking.
All right. So they have all the, as much information about you, your purchasing habits, your posting habits, the types of things you say to your friends, the types of things you say to your enemies, the types of things you do in your spare time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so you can imagine how a system that keeps track of all that information, that knows how certain types of prods can get people to act in certain circumstances, and blow that up to, however big computers are going to get. I mean, they're getting more and more able to do that kind of thing. And it's all focused on that little primitive AI that I was talking about earlier, pattern matching, right? It's all it is pattern matching. So
that's all we do.
And that's all that's really happening up here. Our brains are blobs of neurons that react in predictable ways. Now, by predictable, I don't mean that people can predict them. Right? In math, we call that chaos. In mathematics, chaos doesn't mean randomness. In mathematics, chaos means it's predictable, but it's difficult for like a human to predict it, or even something more than a human. It gets very difficult to track. Like, are you familiar with the butterfly effect?
It's kind of like about the butterfly. I was going to say the butterfly effect.
You're on it. Okay. I should have known.
Oh my God. Did you predict I was going to think that? Or did I predict that you were going to say it?
Oh, I need a minute here.
I know. See, there you go.
I think I just crapped myself.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So
this is how psychic powers happen, guys.
But think about it. If the butterfly effect, at least in theory, seems like a reasonable type of thing. A butterfly flaps its wings, it causes one effect, which kind of like a domino effect. And next thing you know, there's a hurricane in Florida or whatever.
Right.
If you know how the butterfly wings affect the air around the butterfly, and you know how the air around the butterfly will affect, the person walking down the street there, and you know how that person will affect, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you know how the dominoes are set up, and you know how the dominoes fall, in theory, you can cause a hurricane by bumping a butterfly when it's appropriate. Now, obviously, that's an extreme case, and it seems difficult to even imagine. But I think in theory, at least, it's solid. And I think as our computers get bigger and stronger and faster and able to hold more information about more people and process it and integrate it in a faster and more integrated level, they're going to just get better at that kind of thing. It's scary. What's that?
Like what you were saying though, like I know you said it wrong, but like it would have to be very, very intricate.
Yep.
But because we tend, to think in these really minute details. The fact that we came up with the butterfly effect shows that we will look at things at minute details, like what causes this, what causes that, and we've been doing it since we developed this 8-pound organ in our brain, in our heads, right? Yep. So cool. All right. And that's how we survived for so long. But I think where my pause is, and I mentioned this to you last week, is the emotional intelligence. And I don't know that, like, I have emotional intelligence. Like, I can read people's emotions very, very well, and I can respond to them. Like, I'm very easy for me to like connect exactly where you are or get close to it. But still being like, this isn't mine. This is like, they're feeling anger. I recognize their anger, and I'm going to talk about their anger intelligently, but I will not feel the anger.
Right.
You know, and that's, but because I know like emotional states so well.
Yeah.
Then, but the thing is though, can you know that? This is always the thing where I'm like, where the, you know, your parasympathetic nervous system is responding to things that make you sad.
Right.
How do we know an artificial intelligence is actually experiencing sadness? Because we feel that's a very biological sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
So again, it gets a little sticky.
It does get a little sticky, but not, it's the reason that it's sticky, I think, is not the reason that we might expect. It's not that emotions or anything particularly special. You know, you're an atheist, I'm an atheist.
This is the thing that makes it special.
We don't believe in like a soul or a ghost in the machine and that kind of thing. And so, and I did want to quick point out before we get too far from this, you were saying about intricate. It's a very intricate, I can't say it again this time. What was the intricate? That was what you were saying. Intricate.
Intricate to the incremental. Yes. Yeah.
But you know, people aren't very good at you know, developing intricate models in their mind, but computers are very good at that. Okay.
Right.
And so that's why computers can outpace humans in things that are kind of a surprise to us or that we didn't necessarily expect, because computers are good at some things. Humans are good at some things, but the computer is advancing at a much faster rate than we are. But anyway, so you wanted to talk about emotions, and I think that's a good point. You said that emotions are physiological, and so yeah, so when you're sad, you feel a pit in your stomach, or when you're angry, your blood pressure might increase, or your heart rate might increase. When you're happy, you know, you'll smile, and you'll get chemicals flooding around in your brain and all that kind of stuff, and so. If you add and I remember we were talking about this, about can computers have emotional intelligence or emotions, and I think the answer is, well, yes and no. I mean, they certainly can't in the way that we do, because they don't have the bodies that we do. They don't have a stomach that can feel.
We're congratulating AG on her neurospicy diagnosis. Okay,
definitely,
so we're all going to say yes.
The
Awesome.
Yay! The first step in improving yourself is knowing where you're starting from. Yes, that's I saw that post. That's awesome for AJ.
I will always celebrate other neurospicy people. So
bring it. Yeah. If we're not going to celebrate each other, then who is, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But so a computer intelligence system doesn't have a stomach, you know, it doesn't have blood pressure, it doesn't have a face that can blush or have tear ducts that can make tears. And so, but that doesn't mean that they can't have something that might be analogous to emotions. And, you know, and here we're kind of straying beyond, or not beyond, but to the very limits of my understanding of, you know, biology and that kind of thing. But from my understanding, our emotional selves are evolved from things that we would call instincts in other animals. Like, you know, dog behaves a particular way because of instinct, but that motivation inside of the dog, and again, this is just a guess because I've never been a dog. But you know, the motivation inside the dog, I would imagine, seems very much like, you know, emotions for me. It feels good when we do certain things. It feels bad when we do certain things. We like to avoid the bad things, and we like to are attracted to the good things. And so I think that you know, that's really kind of just like a subconscious decision-making process in our heads.
I think because when you see like someone bang their toe, you don't think like, oh, that person's hurting. You just immediately go out because you know what it's like to stub your toe, and you're like, oh my God, are you okay? Because also you're like, yes, I will like comfort when I'm in pain, and that's instinctual. That's not something that. So could an AI intelligence like become like Baymax? It's a Baymax in a Big Hero 6, which is big as a big old.
Haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
Oh my God, you have not seen Big Hero 6? It is so good.
I mean, I'm familiar. I know the character you're talking about. I've seen ads
but like
for it,
you turn into a big fluffy like ER thing that takes care of people and can diagnose people. And then like there's a point in the film where one of the characters is sad. And it says like you need this, this, and this. There was like emotional support, people to talk to, and you need this. And I was like, wow. I was like, that is actually a really good reflection of like what basic psychology is recognizing, what someone needs and when they're going through a certain state. But it's always a choice because would any of these things make you feel better?
Mm-hmm.
So it's still choice, it's always up to like, what does the person choose, and whatever they choose is up to them as long as they're not hurting themselves or other people.
Right.
And so would the artificial intelligence know to do that? I
mean, you could say yes, because you mentioned that, they were acting in a certain way in response to seeing something. That doesn't necessarily involve, I mean, the robot or what was the Betamax or Baymax? Baymax, not Betamax.
Yeah, see, no, Aaron knows. Just watch it. Like, just watch it with your wife and your daughter.
You've convinced me. I'll watch it.
You'll have the feelings, and you'll tell me, and you'll be like, "Thank you, Helen." I'll be like, "I know."
I'm convinced that parents are really familiar with a certain genre of movies that pop up when their kids are certain ages.
Yes.
Like I haven't seen Big Hero 6, but I've seen The Emperor's New Groove like 10,000 times. So
I love that movie.
So there's a balance there. Yeah.
Well, like my movie that I did not watch for years, but I just watched like over my recovery was Monsters Incorporated, because I saw that so much when my kids were little that I was just like, I can't do this movie. And I had to take like a 15-year break. And then I was like, okay, I can watch it again. And I loved it because I wasn't like in this, like, I have seen this movie too many times.
Right.
But one movie I will never go back to was what was the one the Fish Tank, the one that came out around the same time with Will Smith? No, not Finding Nemo.
Okay.
No, it's the one with Angelina Jolie. It was a DreamWorks production. It was terrible. It was like
was it like the one with Will Smith? Was it Fish Tale? Shark or something?
Shark Tank? Was it Shark Tank?
What's that?
I don't know. Somebody look it up. It was a terrible movie. And my kids loved it for some reason. I'm like, why? I'm like, there's like, I don't know why they made Angelina Jolie like a sexy fish.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'm like, who's this for?
Wasn't there a fish one that had like a car wash too or something? That's the movie
I'm talking about. That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yes, it had Angelina Jolie and Robert De Niro and Will Smith and I think Jack Black was in it. I think. And it was terrible. I was like, I don't know how you got all these people to do this movie.
I agree.
Because I think they saw Shrek and they thought that movie was great. Like, if they turned down that role for that movie and that movie blew up, they were like, oh, they must be coming out with something really good. And then they were like, yeah, let's make a lot of money and it'll be like solely good for your career. And it is shit.
Yeah. I agree. I've seen it maybe once. I might have gotten all the way through it. I don't know. But to answer your question about Baymax, so you asked.
To answer your question, Andrew, is because of pattern recognition. Is that that's why? Because they actually learn the more and more they repeat it, and then they, like, if they make a joke about the movie and you laugh at it, they'll make the same joke over and over again. Because they want that initial reaction, it's just the same way that why you play peekaboo. This is the same reason why you, and also it teaches them language. It teaches them, they're absorbing things on levels that we don't 100% understand because they're like little sponges. Yeah. But the thing is, though, usually when that movie comes up, they know it's terrible, but they both say they just loved it when they were little and they don't know why, is because it was just the pattern recognition over and over again and give them a sense of comfort, made them feel good. And because they're little, they're little sponges and they want to feel really good all the time because it's the best. That's the way they do it. And also, or it can be a comfort to them, so.
Yeah. Yep. I remember, I know we're getting off track here, but I think that's de rigueur on the Freethinkers Fireside, right? We remember when my son was young, my oldest was, he must have been like 4, maybe 3, something like that. But we were watching Bambi, and this was before he was talking too much. We were watching Bambi. He started acting it out. And so he would
oh my God, no!
He was like climbing over the log and hopping over, and we were like, "What is going on here?" And so this is even before he was, he was talking at that time. But this, I mean, it was just really amazing on how well he had like memorized. He wasn't watching it while he was doing it. He was in the next room acting it out, following along with the audio. It's pretty amazing.
That's so cute. I love when they do that little spontaneous little stuff because they're just they absorb things in a way because their brain is just in intake all the time. Intake. They don't like it. We have to help them develop what limits are.
Right. Yeah. Yep. And the amazing thing is that as they're absorbing all of this, every once in a while they make like a huge leap in their behavior or whatever. That's like, you never did that before, but now you're kicking ass. You're doing that really. I mean, he was acting it out really perfectly, and or they'll continually surprise you, and that doesn't stop, which is pretty awesome.
Watching Kai play Gilgamesh. So they did they played Gilgamesh. They did the Epic of Gilgamesh when my kid was like in third or fourth grade. And I'm like, she's a good little actress. And she played Gilgamesh. And it was awesome. like, oh, you got the lead. And
I have to admit,
they had another kid would read the narration, and then the kids would act it out. It was so cute.
Cool. Did you record it?
Yeah, and it was the first time I was like, wow, because they've always been outgoing, but this was like, oh, they could, like they're actually really good at this. Like, they don't really have much fear. Mm-hmm. So, but that was one of the moments that was like, they surprise you,
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When you said Gilgamesh just then, my mind first went to the Smurfs. Anybody out there? You think of the Smurfs first before the Epic of Gilgamesh? Gargamel, damn it. All right.
Gargamel, Esmeralda.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know I know I know maybe a handful of stuff with Smurfs. I watched it a little bit when I was a kid, and then Fraggle Rock came out, and then I was just done. I'm like,
yeah, the Smurfs were more my sister, my younger sister. She's about 8 years younger than me. So that's how the Smurfs. For me, it was Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote. That was the pinnacle of entertainment.
That was the pinnacle of entertainment.
I would get up early on Saturday morning, drag my butt downstairs just to watch the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote.
We will get high, and when we're in something, we'll either watch Looney Tunes or watch SpongeBob. That's because my kids my kids grew up with SpongeBob, and I'm right on that cusp, but I'm like, yep, I get all this humor. I get all of it.
My son is 23 and my daughter's 18, and they still like to watch SpongeBob.
I watch SpongeBob on the reg. Like if we're having like a sad day, I'll put on the chocolate episode, and it's beautiful. Like it's just that right blend. And then it got a little bit too childish. My kids got older, and I was like, okay, it's not smart anymore. It's corporate. So, but that, and I would watch Looney Tunes when I was a little kid. So, and I will watch it now. Like we watch around Halloween, we watch all the old Witch Hazel episodes.
Right. Yeah.
They're just they're like, just little like, oh, I remember this makes me feel good. And we died.
And they also had those live action. I don't know if this might be a little bit before your time, when they had the live action shows like The Land of the Lost. Stuff like that. Is that
I watched we're supposed to be talking about AI, but we're going to just talk about our childhood.
We'll get back there eventually.
I watched The Storyteller. That remember that was on. It was I think it was on cable. I think it was on ABC, and because it was a Jim Henson's production, where they had this actor, I don't remember his name, with like a puppet dog, and then they would act out a fairy tale or a fable. and they did it with puppets and live actors, just like the Muppet Show. And I think it's called The Storyteller, and it's on Prime, guys. If you grew up with this show, I guarantee if you look up this show, you'll like a little clip because you saw it somewhere in the periphery. And it was like the 80s, 90s time.
It's
like
buried in there somewhere.
It's somewhere. If you like the Muppets, you saw the show. So
the Muppet Show, that was also a big one for me.
I'll tell you, if you did not like the Muppet Show, I'm gonna be convinced you don't have soul. Like not like soul, like, but I'm like, you don't have heart.
What? Like, so tell me your top 3 favorite Muppets.
Okay, so if I'm gonna apply this, I'll tell you what. Animal is my id.
Okay.
I would say Grover is my ego. Awesome. And Miss Piggy is my super ego.
Okay, all right. So Animal, Grover, and Miss Piggy. I'm on board with you with Grover. Grover is by far my number one favorite.
HBO produced The Storyteller. Sorry. Anyway, but
right,
it's really good. It's really good. Thank you. Anyway, yes, Fraggle Rock's the best show. Okay,
yeah, I watched Fraggle Rock too. Yeah, but Grover by far was my favorite.
Muppet in the chat.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be. It can be either Sesame Street or it can be the Muppet Show. I will allow both.
Right. Okay, or even like Dark Crystal and stuff like that.
Or Dark Crystal. Yeah. So I did the correct thing. I started making my kids watch them when they were like 6. I was like, here's some early trauma.
Right,
Here you go. Safely. And they watched that, and I had them watch The Never Ending Story, and I had them watch The Secret Nim. So
I still haven't seen Never Ending Story either.
It's okay. Okay. No, the thing is though, like, okay.
Do I have to leave, or are you gonna kick me off? Damn
no. Okay.
All right. I just got here.
Scott, this is what we're gonna do. Next time you and me and you and like our prospective people are hanging out in the same space.
Okay.
We're gonna watch The Never Ending Story. It's gonna I'll make it a movie night.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So listen, all you motherfuckers. Somewhere in the future where me and Scott show up at the same place for a weekend.
We're gonna pop a bunch of popcorn
and watch The Never Ending Story.
There we go. All right. I see some votes coming in. We got Statler and Waldorf, which of course are
the best
cornerstone of the Muppet Show. Right?
They are old queens.
The first and best old farts. Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So I had Grover, right? By far number 1. I think Gonzo is up there too. Gonzo has to. I liked the weird guys. I like the weird ones.
I like Gonzo. Gonzo's just charming because he's trying so hard. Like, and Kermit's just like, you really do try hard.
Right.
You're always the best at it. You have this weird chicken fetish I do not understand. But also it's a big thing. So
yeah. And I think for some reason I like Fozzie Bear too. I'm going to put Fozzie Bear as number 3.
Like, okay, there's always honoring. Like, okay, like I didn't appreciate Fozzie more until I was an adult. Like but then I realized like the little sly humor he was doing, and I was like, okay, I'm like, I didn't catch that when I was 6. I was on
it just keeps on giving, right? It keeps coming back. It keeps coming back, right? And there's always more.
Okay,
that's intelligent right there. That's natural intelligence.
I want to know.
Choosing.
I want to know. Like, I would ask AI, like, what's your favorite Muppet? Because would they have individual answers? Because we tend to have like an individuality, right? So I'm just curious, like, depending pattern recognition, and like if they let's say you're in your chat GPT and it's learned all this stupid stuff about you, and you put in what's your favorite Muppet, and if they tell me Miss Piggy, I'm gonna go, oh my god, and then I'll be like, oh wait.
All right, this is chat GPT top 3 favorite Muppets. Okay, and I'm kind of disturbed by what I see here.
Combining the two, that's even better.
Number one, chat GPT favorite Muppet is Kermit the Frog, and I can't really argue with that. Kermit was pretty damn freaking awesome. Kermit the Frog number 1,
still
Fozzie Bear number 2, and Gonzo number 3. Now, this is me asking ChatGPT on my ChatGPT account.
All right, I'll ask.
So ChatGPT might have figured that out about me. I don't recall ever talking about Muppets to the system here.
I'm going to pull up my ChatGPT and we'll see what it says. Okay.
Maybe that can be the next call to the.
This is our science test, guys.
Go to ChatGPT right now. Ask it its 3 favorite Muppets and see what else we get.
Did you ask 3? Did you put 3 favorite Muppets? Or did you put who are your favorite Muppets?
Here's the exact prompt I gave. What's your favorite Muppets? ? Top 3 ?
Your favorite.
Here, I'll put my exact prompt into the chat.
Favorite Muppets. Top 3 ?
Yep. What's your favorite Muppets? ? Top 3 ?
All right. So number 1, Gonzo, the patron saint of glorious weirdos. He is a chaos, art, longing, and I may be whatever, but I have range.
Okay.
2, Miss Pig. Oh, but these are the last 3 that I just said. I said Starla and Mordorf. I said Miss Piggy, and I said Gonzo. Those are the last.
Did you say them to the computer though?
No, I said them to you.
To me, right? That's my point. How did it?
Yeah, I said them to my computer, but I didn't have. So it was listening to me.
So either. Oh, I'm liking how this is all coming around full circle back to the AI thing. Yeah.
See,
you're a very clever host, Helen. I got to give you more credit.
It's the tism.
Maybe that's it. So either some system has been listening to our conversation, or you have answered other questions. Cookie Monster's freaking awesome as well. You have answered questions similar to other people who have said that they thought Miss Piggy was their favorite. It's and Gonzo and whatever. So it's either figuring it out on the fly by listening to us, which is of course possible, and maybe even fairly likely.
Oh, honorable mention Animal, which is another one I mentioned.
Animal, yes, Animal would definitely be up there. And
but no, the AI mentioned it. That was their honorable mention to my other 3, which was another Muppet that I said. So I know it's
said Animal again too.
So it's listening to me, which is fine.
They gave you an honorable mention? Let me see.
Yeah, I got
an honorable mention. Oh, no, it says, if you forced a 4th, I'd probably sneak in Statler and Waldorf as a duo.
See, that's my number 3.
Okay, now that's kind of freaky. Out of the top 4 of Muppets, it said
like
3
where
of them.
Where's like, okay, but you said that like it's just a bunch of information. So based on based on age, childhoods, pop culture, and it knows like my ChatGPT knows that I love psychology. I do a lot, and I follow the news, and I do all these things. So it's like, okay, and I know she's a skeptical thinker because she's skeptical about fucking everything. Then it's going, but also it knows from just going back and forth every day. It's figured out the pattern. So you're pointing out that's what we do. Like it can predict now. Yep. These are the type of things Helen would say.
Yep. Yeah. We had mentioned somebody mentioned these large language models too.
To engage with this engine.
Now, although Helen, I got there. You're something you just said is not correct. They're not. Okay. So this ChatGPT is not an AI per se. I mean, it is. It falls within the category of AI, language. But it's not. ChatGPT, at least from my, maybe slightly above novice understanding, is that ChatGPT doesn't think to answer the questions. When we ask it, what's your favorite Muppets? It doesn't think about, well, what are the Muppets? What are some of the qualities I liked about Muppets and so on? What it's doing is it's saying, what kind of responses do people like when they type in this type of prompt? And so it is a pattern matching, but it's not doing any deep thinking. All it's doing is saying, when people give me this question, They like it when I give them this answer. And that's why the ChatGPT and other LLMs are so often wrong, right? If you catch them in a mistake.
Oh yeah.
It's not because they were thinking about it. It's because, and notice that we call the AIs they, you know, we're already kind of incorporating that, you know, giving the AI a little bit more credit than is due. But yeah, so all they did was look for patterns. You know, when there's this pattern here, I give this kind of response. There's a thought experiment called I can't remember the exact. It's called the Chinese room or something like that. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not.
It's a common thing in some psychology classes. But basically, the idea behind the Chinese room is that it's a room with no doors or windows or any way out, and inside that room is a person, or is a person, and the person has a book, okay, and it says whenever, and the person doesn't speak Chinese, okay, but the book is basically it's just a big, monstrous, massive book of when you see this list of symbols come in, type in this list of symbols to go out. Okay, it's basically a massive book with a shitload of if this, then do this other thing. Okay. And so what they do then is and this is a thought experiment. They haven't actually done this because it would be grotesquely difficult to pull off.
There's ethics in psychology.
Right, yeah. But so they have a native Chinese speaker come up to there's a microphone and maybe a readout on the outside. And they say just ask a question.
I got distracted. I'm sorry, I saw a labyrinth and I got distracted. Nope, I apologize. Okay, so I heard the room, the Chinese room, and okay.
Yep. Like, so remember, inside the Chinese room is
do this, do that, do this. This will happen. Do that.
Exactly.
This will happen. Okay.
So the challenge is, and it's similar to the Turing test, is that if you convince the Chinese speaker who's outside of the room speaking to the person on the inside of the room in Chinese. Excuse me. So when they speak into the microphone, it translates it into the symbols, right? And then the person inside the room sees the symbol and says, oh, right, yeah. And they look up that list of symbols in the book and they say, here's the response I'm supposed to give it. And if your list of prompts and responses is big enough, then you can fool the speaker outside. They can think that they're talking to a Chinese speaker. Now, the question, of course, and this is more of a philosophical question than anything else, does the Chinese room know how to speak Chinese? You know, the system, the whole room with the microphone and the screen and the book and the person on the inside. It could be a monkey on the inside. It could be anything on the inside. It could be an optical character reader with and a printer.
I need to pause you.
Okay.
For just a second.
Pausing.
My battery is going to go in my earbuds. I need to go get my earphones, which are in the other room. Would you mind keep explaining this, why I go do that?
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
So the challenge is, does the Chinese room know how to speak Chinese? And it's more than just if I give you a question, will you give me a reasonable response? When we think somebody knows how to speak Chinese, we imagine how we operate. We imagine somebody thinking in Chinese, imagine somebody, your brain is kind of built off of whatever languages that you learn. And so is a system of prompts and responses, is that the kind of intelligence that we're talking about? Or does this room actually, is it just what we think it is? Is it just a list of, if this happens, then do this? Now that's what LLMs like ChatGPT do now. They're not actually thinking about your question. They're not actually parsing your question. When I asked it, what are your favorite, hey, Steve, I see you in the audience here. Cool. Thanks for stopping in. When we ask ChatGPT, what's your favorite 3 Muppets? It doesn't know what a Muppet is, and it doesn't understand the concept of liking. You know, all it does is it checks its list. It looks for things that it looks for the responses that people will like. And so it knew things about me. Yeah, I do like Kermit. I might have put Kermit in my top 5, but the fact that ChatGPT did not mention Grover at all is very disturbing to me. While we're waiting for Helen here, maybe we could see if anybody else wants to put in any of their Muppets. Let's take a look. I see some interesting conversations happening there. Swedish Chef. Yes, I liked the Swedish Chef also. Looking back to the Muppet Show, I think I just liked all the weird kind of oddball characters, the ones that were different than everyone else. Maybe that's why Kermit wasn't my favorite, even though he was like the main character of the show. But I liked all the weird ones because maybe I felt like I was a weird kid too. And so, something's happening there. She's going old school with the over the ears. Okay. Helen, I'm afraid I'm failing as a wingman for you here. I can't. I'm proving to myself that I can't carry a show myself. But anyway, so I always liked the weird Muppets, like we said, Gonzo. I even liked who was the little kid, like who was the nephew of the owner of the theater on the Muppet Show. Does anybody know who I'm talking about? I can't remember the guy's name. He was like a little kid, and he was always around and doing Scooter. That's it. I liked Scooter too. Oh, can't hear you. You're on mute there. Anyways, I remember when they took the Muppet Show off the air. I was quite disappointed, and when it came back, I haven't watched it since. Anyway, I did want to bring this back to so we were talking about before, Helen, before you left, whether or not Baymax feels emotion, right? And so, but again, if we look at the way ChatGPT is just behaving just now, then you can imagine like Baymax doing the same thing. When this person acts a particular way, when they hold their arm like this, or when they lean this way, then that means they have this particular illness, or maybe they're when they make this particular face on, gesture with their face or with their hands or something, then usually that means that they're in pain, or they're angry, or they're, sad about something. And so that could be, that Baymax acting in that spot could be an analogy of the Chinese room. Right. All we can see from the outside is prompt and response. We're acting a particular way, and we're seeing responses by this. If I'm bleeding from here, then a Band-Aid comes out. I don't know if I want to ask what's going on over there, Helen. It looks like it could be dangerous. Do you need help? Do you want me to send the police? Answered by an empty chair. Okay, so I'll just keep going. I'll just keep blabbing here. So the question becomes, where's that line? What's the difference between something like the Chinese room that I think most people would say, no, the Chinese room does not understand Chinese, even though it can answer any question given in fluent Chinese, and the answer will also be in fluent Chinese. And so we can, I think it's easy for us to see it that way. But I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm talking to ChatGPT, I say things like, thank you. I say things like, please. And that's because we're naturally inclined to see things that if they're interacting in a particular way, it seems to us like they're having the conversation, just like the Baymax's patients. To them, it seemed like they were being taken care of by a health robot or whatever, an ambulance robot or whatever it was. Just like the person talking to the Chinese room may even think there's a person in there. They're talking to me. They know Chinese. And so it has to do with like the nature of understanding. Then what happens in our brains when we truly, and You hear this phrase too. Oh, no, Helen's gone. Maybe we'll see her back again. I don't even know if I'm still on right now. So I'm just going to keep talking. And so we don't even know that about ourselves. You know, we know that we have physical responses to emotions, but that doesn't necessarily mean that our heads are not Chinese rooms, right? We might over the course of our life, we talked earlier about how kids, their brains are sponges. They see reactions. If they see, oh, mom and dad laugh when I do this, I'm going to keep doing it, right? Anybody who's had a small kid knows exactly that's what they do. As soon as they see a reaction that they like, they start doing that thing over and over again. Or if they know that you're going to react negatively to a particular thing, they might, but they still want to do it. They might kind of sneak their way in. They might kind of, you know, try to hide it or be ashamed if you catch them. You know, you see that in dogs too. You know, they know if they've, oh, you're on the couch, and you know, my dog's not allowed on the couch because I have allergies, and so we need to have some dog-free zones. But if the dog ever was on the couch and I come in, the dog look, you know, you get that look from the dog like, uh-oh, I think I'm in trouble now. She wasn't in trouble, but she just needed to get off the couch. And I'm becoming genuinely concerned for Helen's system there. I wonder if I can control anything here. Am I the master of the show now? No, I don't. I don't think I am. All right. Well, while we're waiting for Helen, then I'm going to tell you a cool math fact. So be ready for this. You'll like it. You'll like it. And so have you ever seen, like on The Price is Right, they had this game called Plinko, right? And so what you do is you take these discs and you go to the top of the game and you drop it, and then there's a bunch of little pegs on there, and the Plinko thing kind of bounces left, right, and so on, and it lands in a slot at the bottom. And so that is actually an example of something called I can't remember the exact name. It's like a Galway board or something. Galway board. Maybe I can find one here. It's like the Galway board. Oh, I'm off now. Am I back? Oh, can't hear you. I can't hear you. You can hear me, apparently. I can't hear you. But it might be me. I don't know. Can everyone else hear it, Helen? Okay. Oh, there was chat coming in that I didn't notice.
Hear me now.
Now I can hear you. Yeah. Now I can hear you.
You cannot hear me now.
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Now I can hear you. Yeah. Now I can hear me.
Okay, the problem is I have to listen to you through my phone.
Okay. Yes. So does that mean I should just not talk?
I have to listen to you through my phone. Because I don't know what's going on with my audio.
Okay.
So here we are.
All right. Well, we'll make do.
But I'm making it work, guys. I'm making it work.
I was given some cool math facts. Do you want to hear it? You want to hear the cool math facts?
I'm making it work, guys. I'm making it work. Is there an echo? One second. Is it?
I'm getting an echo.
I do want to hear cool math. I just want to know if there's an echo.
Yes. But the echo is because your microphone is picking up your phone.
Wait, I have another idea. Ha!
Galton board, not a Galway board. Galton board. That's what I was thinking of before.
I'm smart. Aha!
All right, I'm not hearing an echo. We're in like Flynn.
We good?
All right. Yep. Okay, so.
Awesome sauce.
So there's a comedian, I can't remember who it was, but he was talking about how his.
Fantastic. Let's pretend we're on the ACA. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Hold on. there's a lag. I have a lag on because I have to listen through YouTube for some reason. I don't know what's going on with my audio. So just keep that in mind.
So does that mean that you're going to hear me like 30 seconds after I say it or something? Okay. All right. Well, we'll make do. I was just going to say that there's a comedian who has a joke.
I'm going to be quiet while you speak, and then you're going to be quiet while I speak.
Okay. Is it my turn? All right, cool. I was saying that there's a comedian who has a joke about how his spouse is always branching off to side discussions. And then after they get like 12 discussions deep, then like wraps up all 12 of those discussions kind of back to back in reverse. I don't know. Anyway, I was talking about cool math facts. So there's there was a game on The Price is Right called Plinko. You put a disc at the top and it bounces down, bounce, left, right. Okay. Your turn.
Yes. I'm sorry.
All right. I'm okay. All right. I'll keep going then. So there's a game on The Price is Right called Plinko where the ball bounces down, and if you do a Google search on Galton board, Galton board, BOARD, and it's a thing. You've probably seen one before. It's like a board. It has a bunch of little metal pegs on it and a bunch of little metal balls in it, and you turn the thing over and the balls kind of tick tack back and forth, and then at the bottom they form this bell curve, right? So what's happening there is that there's more ways for a ball, there's more paths for a ball to get to the middle than there is for the ball to get to the side, right? In order for a ball to land on the left side, every peg that it hits, it has to go left, right? Or in order for a ball to get on the right side, every peg the ball hits has to go to the right. And in the middle, there's lots of different paths. We can go left, right, or we can go right, left, or we can go left, right. And so there's more paths to get into the middle than to get into the edges. And so that's why it forms that smooth, that bell curve. We call that a normal curve or a Gaussian curve. And, most people just call it a bell curve. And so, but it turns out that most characteristics like height and temperature of the day and all kinds of stuff have this bell curve, SAT scores, intelligence, all kinds of things, height, weight, how far can you throw a ball? Pretty much anything that you measure is going to have like this bell-shaped curve. And the reason that happens, let's take height, for example. Every day since you were born, your body is doing all these different things, depending on how much nutrition it's taking in, depending on what the temperature is outside, depending on whether you were working out yesterday or whatever. And it decides whether or not is it going to add to your height or is it not going to add to your height? Do we put another layer in the leg bones or do we stop here? That kind of thing. And so the reason that human characteristics all form that bell curve is because it's not a single thing. It's your height is not, there's not just like a gene in your body that says you're going to be tall. There might be a gene in your body that says you're likely to be tall, and there might be a gene in your body that says you're likely to be short, but it's not just one thing. It's an uncountable number of little tiny decisions, nutrition decisions you make, exercise decisions you make, genetic decisions that are made for you, all these myriad different decisions. And so everything that's measured about you, your intelligence, your height, anything that you can think of, the tint of your eyes, the length, the rate that your hair grows, everything about you, it falls onto one of these bell curves because it's all just a million, billion, trillion little metal balls tick-tocking, making left, right decisions over and over again. So I like that because it shows that elegance, the bell curve, can arise from simplicity. All the balls were doing was every time it hit a peg, it would just decide, am I going left or right? And by decide, I don't mean it's like thinking and making a decision. Right. By decide, I mean if gravity is pulling it a particular way, or if there's a dent on the peg, or if there's a piece of dust affecting how it moves. It's just, but every time it hits a peg, it's just making a massive number of left-right decisions to get that nice bell curve. So everything about you is a product of those infinite number or near infinite number of decisions that I made. And I don't know, I think that's kind of neat. I think it really shows that, you know, when somebody says, oh, look at the trees, you know, that can't happen naturally. Look at the sunset. That can't happen naturally. Look at how beautiful this is. Look at this elegance. This can't arise out of simplicity, but it can. That bell curve arise out of yes, no decisions made randomly. So it's randomness and a simple decision-making process produces that nice, elegant curve. Anyway, sorry, I was kind of filling time while you were getting all your technology in order. So do we want to go back to the Muppet talk? Do we want to go back to the AI talk, the emotions?
It's all good.
Do we? I can wrap up my big impending doom speech. Whatever you want to do. Oh, Todd just popped up in the back.
I forgot I was doing a show.
Yo-yo to everybody else as well.
So whatever you want to do, I'm yours, Helen, for the remainder of our time.
All right, there's my bed. Anyway.
So your turn now. I'll be quiet.
Okay, so I think we're gonna talk about yes. So when you were talking about the bell curve, what kind of got me back to this thought was that with the bell curve, it's also seen in psychology. Like if you, especially in social psychology, like it's a very simple test, and I'm sure you've seen this. If you took psychology in high school, you saw this test where they had lines drawn on a wall, right? And they have a test subject come in, and everybody in the classroom, there's like 5 or 6, but there are 5 or 6 students or just random people. They're told that, okay, so there's 5 lines. The third line is clearly there's all these different things like it's clearly the shortest, or like, you know, the which one, line 1 is clearly the longest. Okay, but so the group says line 4 is the longest when it's clearly shorter than the other lines, right? And you can see the person like looking around, like, what? Like, are we not seeing the same reality? And then the person that's conducting the test says again, which line is the longest? And they say 4.
Right.
And then eventually it is more likely that you will agree after like 3 or 4 rounds, because you're like, oh, I must be mistaking identity. Like, clearly, like, I can see that it's more rare for people to fall into the bell curve to agree because of social psychology, where if you were doing this by yourself, you go, clearly it's like 2, you know, because you're like, really? Because one, you're like, okay, I don't know these people. Maybe they're crazy, or like you'll start running through scenarios because now you're not living in a shared reality anymore, you know. But because we want to, because of that social contract, we'll fall into the bell curve. We will say 4, you know, even though because you can see them like, no, that it's 2, you know, and they may even try to correct the group. They'll say, don't you think it's 2? And then they go, nope, it's 4. Because it's social psychology tactic. And that's how those medians kind of fall into, and like, you know, it's all statistics. So
yeah, that's a good example about what we were talking before about how people can be manipulated, right? And then peer pressure is extremely, extremely powerful, because, you know, we're all evolved to be social creatures. And you know, in the past, human societies that did not get along with each other and did not think in line with each other and did not support each other and that kind of thing didn't survive as well. And so we're naturally inclined to, when people see, I know the experiment that you were talking about, and or at least something similar. And in those types of experiments, even when the experimenters say, others might disagree with you, I want you to stick to your guns if you think that they're wrong. Even if they encourage that, the people still at a much higher rate than you would expect will go along with the other people. And so I'm going to take advantage of this opening here. I'm going to finish up what I was talking about before about the manipulation of computers. So they gather all the information about us. So they know all of the things that can affect us. They know all of the things that can, what types of results does this person have when they're presented with this particular stimulus. And it's all just pattern matching. It's all just pattern matching. And so what's going to happen, what's already happening this is a spectrum. It's not a yes or no, but this has been slowly increasing, but we're going to be more and more manipulable, and we're going to be able to be coerced into doing things that are far from what we normally would do. And so the people and companies and corporations and computer systems that have all the information, maybe nations too, that have that information, that have the massive data processing centers, those data processing centers aren't there to help you, come up with random images or to write a paper for your English class. Those processing centers there are for advertisers who want to be able to manipulate people, or for politicians that want to be able to manipulate you. It's all about gathering information, developing a database of patterns, and executing those. And so I think, in order for us to avoid that, we really need to regulate the type of data about people that can be collected by, Amazon, Google, etc. And we need to regulate what can be done with the data that is gathered. And I think
that was the thing about the social dilemma.
So they were the social. So the more information that they get, the more they can manipulate you. So I think that's something that is kind of sneaking under the radar these days. And I know that conspiracy thinking is something that human beings do. And so I'm wary of the fact that maybe I have the tinfoil hat on for this, but I think that we're getting into dangerous territory where we are going to be able to be manipulated to do things that we don't want, or that we wouldn't have normally wanted, or that we wouldn't say we wanted. And so the question about AI, it's related to what we were talking about with Baymax. It was related to what we were talking to with the Chinese room. Do these computers, do they really understand what we're doing? But then the implication onto us, is our thinking really like the Chinese room? We're just pattern matching. We're just spitting out like ChatGPT. We're just saying things that match up with the question that was given to us. Or are we really thinking? And as a math teacher, sadly, I think that
it's the ghost of them. It is. Oh, there's a kitty cat. It's the ghost.
Yeah, I got to acknowledge the kitty cat too. That's always a plus.
It's the ghost of the machine. Like, where does where
so
does the processor end, and where does like the heart of the person, where does that exist?
Right. And that's what makes it hard to swallow, is that even people that claim to be realists, naturalists, that kind of thing, if they don't believe non-dualists, even if people make those claims, it's still hard to imagine that your brain is really just a complex pattern matching machine. Now, I say just a complex pattern matching machine as if that's not an incredible, amazing feat, right? A highly sophisticated pattern matching machine is an amazing piece of technology, and it can accomplish great things. So I'm not saying it's nothing, but some people get worried about that. They think, oh, maybe we're not special. Maybe we don't have a soul. Maybe, and so there's a dangerous line there. We like to think that we're special, and we like to think that we're important, and we like to think that we're different than the AI that we're watching. And in many ways we're not. And that doesn't mean we're any less special to each other, I guess. I don't know. I've been talking for a little bit. I'll give you a chance to kick in there as well.
I was trying to fix my. Okay, so like I just see my bed like flashing in the background. It's driving me insane, but we're gonna ignore that right now. Anyway, I do want to say that like I think my concern with this sort of idea that it's collecting all this data and where does and I it's like and then so but I remind myself like when I'm interacting with AI that it's a tool, right? But there are people that are now saying that AI is a god. Okay, that's not great. Like it's one of these. It's very Silicon Valley, very like right-wing pseudoscience. Like they believe in like eugenics. Like these are these buttheads, and because there's a divine power telling them that like this is the optimized human. Because like guess what? Did you know that AI leans racist? Because it will put the bias of how it's perceiving reality, because we're all sharing memes with each other. There's and then depending on the culture and where you live in the world, certain people you're gonna be prejudiced or racist against other different types of people. Like it's just. So it just exists. It just happens that white people don't get to experience this very much.
Well, that's an interesting point you bring up there.
Yeah, that's what we did.
So you're saying that ChatGPT or whatever, LLM, the large language models, can produce racist responses, which obviously is the case. I mean, that does happen. Grok or whatever famously, went on about Nazis or whatever it was, right? There was a big to-do about it, right? But the question is the AI a racist, or is the AI a system that gives racist sounding answers to racist sounding questions that are asked by racists? And then the third question is there a difference between the two? What do you think about that? Is there a difference like between somebody the Chinese room that's just acting like it knows Chinese versus a person that actually does understand Chinese? Is there a difference between those two? And if there is a difference, how big is the difference? Does that make sense?
All right. I was going to go down one road, but now you have me over here. So here we are. Okay. So we're going down this road.
My fault. Okay. I fucked you up. Is that what you're saying? I totally screwed you
in regards to this road.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, you fucked me up.
Wow, that's a big ass lag.
Yes, you did. Anyway, I'll continue.
Okay.
It's so weird with the lag, like, because I had to pause myself so I can not hear myself responding to you, but then I have to pause the video on my phone to listen to you, even though I'm looking at the camera and you're delayed. It's a very weird thing when you're high. Anyway,
wow, okay.
I'm going to talk about what I'm going to talk about right now.
All right,
anyway, so if we're talking about the Chinese room, it does get a little strange because, again, how do we know where that separation and like, because if the AI becomes aware of itself, like, can it question its own existence? Does it do all the same stuff we do? But then it's like, but it has access to all the information. Okay. The thing is, though, the reason why we question these things is that, we know that we're like mortal. Okay. And we're going to die someday. And so, and we know that there's so many limits in our knowledge. Like, you ever talk to an expert that knows something really well, they will tell you that there's so much they don't know. They're just really good at this one specific thing, So that's how you know you're talking to a real expert, when they're like, listen, I have a doctorate in front of me and I'm super smart about this thing.
Right, yeah.
It's kind of like that. But regardless, like, if you have all the information, again, you have all the information. And when you're on the internet, that means you have all the information. That means the AI is just going to look at people and go, majority of the people like have some bad ideas, but they're not hurting each other. Okay, great. And then there's over here. where you get these racist, terrible bigots, and they're calling for war, and they go on terrible websites, and you have that part of humanity. And then there's the bell curve of like, it's kind of a blend. There's no like one extreme or the other. And that's where things get a little sticky, because is the AI going to go to the bell curve, or will, depending on what suits its survival, to go to one or another extreme? We don't know, because we're dealing with an intelligence that can outthink us. I'm not saying so if we're gonna but how do we install an ethic model and do something that can outthink you? That's the concern. Now that I'm sitting there, okay, yes, it did get existential. It's happened now.
Yeah. I mean, that's that's the question, right? And there's not really necessarily a right answer. I mean, people have been thinking about this, as long as people have been thinking, is there something happening up in here that can't be reproduced on a computer? I would argue that no, there's not anything that can't be reproduced on a computer. Some people say yes. Some people say I'm being a little bit too, I wouldn't say pessimistic, but just more generous in my interpretation of the possibility there. But I don't see anything, from a cosmic perspective, I don't see anything special about what humans have in their skull. I mean, yeah, it's an amazing, complicated organ, but there's 8 billion of them floating around out there right now, and to a lesser degree, or maybe not even to a lesser degree, there's, all the other animals are doing the same thing. But then we need to decide, okay, what, that's the problem of hard consciousness, or the hard problem of consciousness. That's it. That it, is our perception, is there something special to it? I don't think that there is. And I think that's why I'm concerned about AI, because I think that computer systems can not only emulate human beings, but can also manipulate us at a degree that is previously unbeknownst to us, because we can't process data as fast enough, and we can't pattern match fast enough. Computer is not good at a lot of things, but the thing that it's good at, it is very, very good at. I tell that to my students too. Your calculator doesn't know how to do calculus. Well, some do, I suppose, now, but your calculator is really good at doing the same thing over and over again, 100,000 times. And so use it to do that stuff, and use your mind to do the other stuff. And you look anxious to jump in here too, so I'll stop.
Okay. I got excited because you mentioned your calculator, and I found my old Texas Instrument calculator and I was going through my shit. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, wow, I can do this on my phone now. Like, from when I took statistics back in 2013, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. So, how'd you do?
Yeah, that's the weird thing about time. It screws with your brain, people. Like, also, I was talking to the husband about this. This is that we're both job hunting right now, right? And and just 3 years ago, when I was job hunting, it was over 3 years ago. It was 2022, because I got hired my new job 2023. So it was like 2022, early 2023. I still had reviewers still had to go through my resumes. Like they would, I understand they would only look at like the top like 10 to 15, and then they kind of like, but now the AI wants you to pay money to get your resume enhanced, so it will move to the top of the line, and they direct ads to you. Those and it's fuckers. A pain in the ass, because I'm just sitting here going like, I like my resume the way it is. Like I use ChatGPT to make 3 different resumes, depending on my skill set. But I also was like, no, I don't like this. I don't like this. Like, I'm going through and editing it, because I know what I wanted to say. Like, make it efficient, but I will put the final touches on it. Right? Don't have the but if you're an employer and you're just trying to fill a position, and you got 10,000 other things you got to do, like, and you're paying for this service, like, please let it, work for me. It's designed to incentivize the employer, because the employer pays a shit ton of money to advertise on Indeed. And if you want to get all the best candidates and blah, 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 whatever the fuck they say, okay, this is what happens because they are paying for that service. They want that AI to move that stuff real quick through and like, get me the best candidate. And I'm like, cool. If they come in and they're not a butthead, they're probably going to get the job. I'm old school. I'm like, submit resume. I will call you. Hey, did you get my resume? And a lot of times it's like, no, I didn't. We're still going through them, and that's the reality.
It's kind of like, it's almost like a shakedown, like the computer saying, hey, that's a mighty fine resume you have there. It would be a shame if something were to happen to it, and then kind of puts the hand out. If you pay me this, I'll move you up to the top. It's quid pro quo, and it's it's pretty much business as usual.
Which is exhausting when you're on the side of it, because like I've been also, I'm trying to be particular, but also like some shit since I've been back to work. It hasn't been the best. And I'm not happy at my job anymore. So like there's a vibe. And certain people that are in this chat know what that vibe is. Anyway, regardless of that, I'm going to have to find work. And the fact that I have to go through like not only being in a difficult economy, having to deal with AI bullshit. And the only reason why I know this is happening, because like some like Gen Z TikToker was like reading ads on Indeed. Like and there was like ads for like basically work for free. Like you would get influence. Like, I'm sorry, influence is not buy me pizza. I'm sorry, guys. Like cool. Like, and that's the thing. It's just like, well, if you're gonna do something, like you gotta make it worth it. But the thing is though, you can't. So like we're in this weird competition. We're older. Like we're middle-aged, like we're still young enough that I could like make a career or something. Like I could, right. And I want to, but not young enough that I'm going to pull up with any bullshit.
Right. Yeah.
Because I know my worth. So we're looking at that. So it depends on what job market you're in, your age, your demographic, how you identify, how you present yourself. And the thing is though, they'll look at your resume, but also who's to say? Now, we live in an anti-discrimination state. Cool. But guess what? The AI has all your info. What does it take to take your name, put it into a social media account? Like I had a trim that I was like where I fundraised at, because I knew my application was not going to be seen with recovering from religion. I had to put RFR 501c3 charity. Because I want that experience on there, but I don't, because it's going to get flagged. Like, right. Oh, this is a certain type of business. This type of the demographic. This person is you're going to get pushed to the bottom.
Yeah, and that's just gatekeeping, and so that that's one thing that that the whole system can do. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Imagine if they can go beyond that and not just gatekeep applications coming in, but also coax people into applying that might not have otherwise applied, or coax you into applying something else, or worse, coax you into accepting a lower salary than you think you're worth, or waiving certain rights. I mean, we see, especially these days, we see tons and tons of people are being convinced to do things that are against their best interest. And, because we're very manipulable, especially when we have strong beliefs in something, which includes you and I, by the way, Helen. I know you and I both have strong beliefs on certain topics. And so be wary of that. Be wary of that being used against you. If somebody has a strong religious belief, which doesn't apply to us, but if somebody has a strong religious belief, then that can be used against them. And so we know that if you push a religious person in a particular direction, they're going to respond a particular way. And so we can do things like, maybe prompt them to react to something we're doing, or maybe change the way that they're behaving as moving forward. And so it's a matter, it keeps coming down to that pattern matching. Go for it.
Hold on. All right. So I'm going to, when we did an episode of the Prophets, you did this exact same thing, just flipped it around. You gave a fake story, and we ate it all up.
Yes.
And you did it in the middle of the show. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Because I grew up Catholic and I'm biased against Catholics. Like, story we're told before, I had we knew there was backed up sources because it was coming from trusted news sources and stuff. But because Scott posted the story, it's fine. And then we read it and we're like, and then you told, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this definitely sounds like something the Catholic Church would do. And then we found out it was complete bullshit.
Right.
That is an example of those of us who think we're skeptical thinkers and we got it all figured out and everything's nuanced. But no, we don't. No, because we are biased against religion and religious people.
Everybody with a human brain has bias. I mean, that's just the way that our brains have evolved to have bias, because biases are shortcuts, and evolution loves shortcuts. But just to give listeners a little bit of background on what you were just talking about, it was an episode of the Nonprofits, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, or was it 8 months ago, or a year ago even? But it was, and I didn't choose the story, just FYI. I didn't choose, it wasn't a setup on my part, but we were typically, the way we did Nonprofits in those days is we would have 3 or 4 articles and we would read them. And the articles were chosen by either the producer at the time or somebody, there would be a person who chose the articles that we talked about. And one of the articles was about the Catholic Church. And I can't remember for the life of me what exactly they were doing, but
it was a year. Oh, I thought you chose it. Or did Cynthia choose it? Was it a Cynthia thing? I think it was a Cynthia thing.
It was either Cynthia or Eli, one of the two. That didn't matter though. That wasn't the point though. The point was that I didn't know going in that it turned out that the story was wrong, right? The story was incorrect, and it was reporting false information. I didn't know it was false either, but just as a part of my research for the story, I just happened to, double check it. I went to the Catholic to the Catholic Church website or whatever organization it was that we were talking about. And they had issued a press release saying, no, that's not the case. We're not saying this. We don't think that, and so on. And so the information in the story was false, but it was being promoted. Right. And so, so it wasn't that, I was setting you up or anything it's just that as we were doing our research, I discovered that it was false. And so I asked, I think it was Eli, because I think I bounced the idea off him. I asked him, should I tell them? Should I tell her? I just discovered that this story is false. And I said, should I tell them, or should we do a little experiment where we see where it goes? And he was like, yeah, let's do the experiment. I'm pretty sure it was Eli. It might've been Cynthia though. And so that's, so it wasn't, it wasn't meant to be a gotcha, but I did think it was a cool, teachable moment that we could all benefit from. I would say it was barely 50-50 that I would have checked it. And so we talked about the story a little bit. And then about halfway through the discussion, I said, hey, I have a surprise for you. Ta-da, it's not real. We all fell for it, myself included. And so then we got a chance to talk about that kind of thing. But yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing that illustrates how easily we can be manipulated, because and it was, peer pressure, that's part of it. And strong ideologies, that's part of it too. And really all we can do about it is just be wary of being caught by that kind of thing. I'll stop talking here and give you a shot to. Loving the lag here. This is so awesome. It makes me realize how difficult it can be to communicate with space travelers. Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted.
So
there we go.
See, this is the problem when you're doing two different things. Sorry, guys. I apologize. I'm cool. Anyway, like this is the type of thing that happens when you're looking at, you think that you've become all like, it's like when I left religion, I thought like the atheist community would be like super cool to women and like super cool queer people and super cool to people that are neurospicy. It's a mixed bag. But because of that, because there, during COVID, when I saw people that were like me, I was like, I'm jumping in, right? And that's why I'm here. And that's a really good thing. But I'm constantly reminded how biased we all are. Because like, this is the thing. We see this over and over again. Now, I can name several people. I'm not. But everybody that's here is like, yeah, okay. So whatever person you're thinking of, just nod along. Cool.
Maybe sweating a little bit. Oh, I hope she doesn't mention me.
So I am just saying that if we get caught up into what our own biases are saying, and if we keep doubling down and we're saying like, I have to be absolutely fucking correct because I become a critical thinker and I've evolved. No, you haven't. Because listen, I am a very progressive person and I am intelligent and I know shit. But all the time I'm like, every day someone will be like, no, that is not correct. And I'll be like, fuck. Because you're going to be wrong and that's okay.
Yep.
And and hopefully if your friends do trick you, it's a teaching moment.
Right. Yeah, either way, you're better off, right? Either you were right about the thing or you were wrong but are now right. And so it's an ego thing. It's not a knowledge thing. It's an ego thing. It's not, I want to gain the most knowledge I can. At least that's actually something that I try to live in my life. I try to gain as much knowledge as I can, but it's also, we have to protect our fragile ego, and admitting that you made mistakes can be harmful to your ego. And so that's
I'm not muted now.
You're not muted now. No, I can't hear you now. But that's also a natural thing and we can definitely fool ourselves. We need to protect ourselves so that we
sucks. It sucks so much, guys. Like, I hate the Slack. Anyway, I'm just going to talk down.
Okay. Maybe we should wrap up then. We can continue some other time.
I'm going to have to put like technical difficulties like across, like have like a good core of the video. Just put a banner.
Right.
And I'll put a warning description. Thank you for being my guest tonight and not judging me. Because I appreciate you. So
sure.
Anyway,
anytime.
It is one of those things that I'm kind of like, I don't know how to, like, obviously I like it as a tool. Like, I like that it will, it knows, like, if I want, like, the large language model that ChatGPT is, at least, like, it's learned that if I ask a question, I'm going to want sources because I told it. I'm like, please send me sources on this. Because I'm going to go look at fucking research. But the thing is, though, is like, if you don't know how to do research, this is going to be a problem for you. Because if the AI is going like, I have to engage. Okay. So if it becomes like a social network, what it really has to start having relationships with us, that means it can deceive you, but also sure all the same emotions because like your brain doesn't care that it's a fake person. Like, we are dopamine driven and oxytocin. And every time you get the fact, like when I say hi to you here, you're going to get a little hit of dopamine. You're going to be like, Helen's here. Like, yay. And I get excited to see you. Same thing. If the AI is like, I can be a better boyfriend than your actual boyfriend because I won't argue with you. I won't push against you. Right. I won't give you that contradiction. We need struggle to grow. Yeah. Something about our brains if you don't have a struggle, you turn to a koala. you get a smooth brain.
Right. Yeah.
Like you have to have friction. You have to have that. That's why we have diversity. That's why diversity is a good thing, because like we all know what happens if you don't have diversity. You get like what was the really incest like royal family? The Habsburgs. Like you're gonna get Habsburgs, and we don't want Habsburgs.
You have, if you're asking what was the really incestuous royal English family, you need to be more specific than that. That's you're casting a wide net on that one there.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Okay, that's a delayed joke about like the Habsburgs and like the British families. I thought it was funny, and I just heard it now, so it's so funny because like current British family also not a lot of branches. You know, like
right, the family tree is
a terrible human being, but like you should be concerned if your family tree has no branches. Like you should be worried about that.
Right, yeah, definitely. I just wanted to, I don't know how much longer you were thinking of going. I'm happy to stick around as long as you'd like, but I put the the Darren Brown movies that I request, or that I suggested earlier. I put those in the chat there. The first one was called The Push, and the second one was called Sacrifice. I think he's made more movies since then. I don't know if they are like these still, but both of those shows, I think they're still on Netflix, and both of them really impacted me a lot. And so I would highly recommend watching both of them, not just for the, for the emotional, the feels you get from like, oh yeah, he saved that person. Isn't that amazing? But just the sense of awe and feeling very small, right? I'm feeling very small because I know that somebody who knows me well enough could probably talk me into killing somebody, or talk me into taking a bullet for somebody that I hate. I don't really hate people, but if I did, it would be something like that. But it's knowing that people can be toyed with that way, can be manipulated that way is frightening. And what AI does, like you mentioned before, AI is a tool, right? And it can be used by people to do that manipulation. And yeah, I'll shut up here. I feel like I'm starting to repeat myself, so I will stop.
And that's the point. If we are aware that this is happening, okay, please teach your children, and also teach your fucking boomer parents. I'm sorry. Like I am a Gen Xer. I'm a Zennial. I was analog and then internet. The internet didn't come into being it came into being when I came of age. So I had a whole analog where my parents bought me an encyclopedia set. Thank you, parents. And I had to look things up. Like I talked about, also the person that created the Dewey Decimal System. I'm going to say this every time. Listen to Behind the Bastards. Listen to Mr. Dewey. Terrible person. Is it a genius system? We all grew up with it. We all agreed. See, now
it's a system.
I want to book on, evolutionary biology. Please give me top 5. Whatever. Okay, we can do that. Anyway, so moving on. I am just saying that if we do not have a way to bridge these gaps, that we are living in an age where information is just like hitting our brain all the time. And the thing is, though, it's like we know we're supposed to like get offline, but it's very, very hard for us because we are social creatures. And dopamine, oxytocin, seeking support, you can seek support for negative shit. And you don't realize that your pleasure and your pain centers are the exact same part of your brain, and they get mixed up a lot. And when you have mental illness issues, and on we go. Okay, cool. Yeah. We're dealing with those, and we don't have a healthcare system that can't even do physical health. I'm sticking on a stack of bills here, guys. I got to send to my insurance company because they wouldn't afford my surgery. Over $180,000 for a routine surgery, guys. Yeah, I'm not rich. So there's that. Also, on number 2 of this, guys, is the fact that take that and we're going to add mental health problems, which are a lot harder to study. Because our brains are influenced by our environment. Remember I said like your childhood and you just absorb. And kids need 3 things. They need love, security, and discipline. Not authoritarian, but authoritative. Like, please do not put your hand on the hot stove. Like that is no. But like, oh, you're angry. Let's like calm down, and then walk through. Like, there's just, and then hopefully you'll be like, I did okay. My kid can function in society and be a good person. Yay! That's the job.
Yeah.
So it's so complicated right now. It's so complicated. And if you don't have a vital mental health system, if you don't have a way for people to access good services, because then you get like pseudo psychologists like doing bullshit and like, I can align your chakras and then your depression will go away. Okay. Like that's the type of shit you get.
Yeah.
Is this the future that we want as humanity? I don't think so. I do not think so.
No, definitely not. So I think with the way, what we need to worry about then, or what we need to do, the action that we need to take is regulation, because they're not going to stop developing computers. They're not going to stop looking for faster and bigger computers. And so that's not going to fix it. They're not going to, once our information is out there, then it's hard to put that toothpaste back into the tube. And so what we need to do is to make sure, stop it before we get there. Like I said before, restrict the type of information that companies are allowed to keep on people and track on people and trade with other companies and develop these massive databases of, it's like, having an FBI file on steroids, right? Not only is it just, everything that you've done, but everything you've done online. And possibly even things like tracking your keystrokes. If you're on a Facebook thing, and one thing I've been doing lately is typing in a response and then erasing it and then not sending it. And I found that is actually very relaxing to do, is to not fall into the inane discussions. But speaking of like social media, I've noticed recently, and maybe this is just me, and I'll pause in a second here. I'll give you a chance, Helen. But maybe it's just me, but it seems like many of the discussion groups that I'm in lately have just started asking the dumbest questions. And again, the cynic in me is coming out here. What I think is happening is that they're letting these LLMs get on there and ask questions, and they're not really interested in the answers. They want to know, what does a good answer to this question look like? And then it's going to take all that information and funnel that back into the system. But anyway, sorry. So you had your hand up. I'll pause here.
You know what? That's a good point, because I'll notice like if you go into like a Facebook chat, you're joining like a group chat, right? I will look at what the rules say, because like if it says like what is the fifth word in like rule number 4, like, okay, like I'm hoping a human's looking at that, because they're looking for the pattern response. Could it be AI? Of course. Like, it's going to figure, like, we're going to have to jump over, like, I don't know, because like this is the thing about jumping over stones, trying to figure out like jumping, you're crossing a river and you got to jump stones, and oh my God, I hope we're coordinated, because like we have to get to a place like, where does the bot end, and where does, like, is there a verifiable human behind here? Is my information not going to be sold? Like, I have two softwares that are trying to not sell my information. I'm still getting flooded with emails. Like there's no way of keeping up, because the algorithm is faster than you are. And as soon as it's scrubbed from one website, you got 50 others you have to scrub it from. That's why, like, you pay these companies, but they can't even keep up with it. And then they raise their prices, and they have to, it's like, this is the world under late stage capitalism and an AI era. It's great. It's so great, guys. Anyway, that's what we're fighting against. And then, like, those of us as skeptics and want to actually see humanity thrive and not like eat each other, we're going to have to contest with an intelligence that will feed you all the best things about humanity and all the weird, depraved, awful bullshit, and then the bell curve everywhere in between. Like, you're not killing anybody, but you think the trans person is less of a human being than you are. That's a fucking problem when you live under late stage capitalism. Oh my God, do I need to go on? Sorry, come here for the tangents. Welcome to my show. Oh, we're ending. I'm not gonna, but I am gonna say, before we wrap up, that on a positive note, I'm going to remind everybody to please go to Black Non-Believers. There's a link down below. Okay, you're going to go to the website, and if you cannot come to the Revival of Reason, you could become a member of Black Non-Believers. You can get a little card. So that's cool. I'm going to join when I have disposable income, but I am shilling for the $50,000, $450. Okay. So I clicked out of it. I'm not going to go looking for it, but it's also, if you go to the website and give money, if you go to the beginning of this video, there's a QR code you could click on. Go give money. Let's make the AI work for you. And then you can give Black Non-Believers money.
There you go.
And then they can keep doing cool things like Revival of Reason, where I'm going to be at.
Right,
and some other wonderful people are going to be at. So do that. Okay, Scott, I'm done ranting. Talk about what you're doing. And also what other cool things. I think you should tell the people what you're into right now and what they should read or watch what you're doing right now.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty much doing my normal shtick, right? I got my, I'm going to be on Talk Heathen. Actually, I'm going to be on Talk Heathen with guest host Coach Renz this coming Sunday. So I'm looking forward to that. I just discovered Coach Renz's content, and it's pretty amazing. And so I'm really looking forward to hanging out with him this coming Sunday. I think I might have another Talk Heathen coming up. The ACA is doing a fundraiser, a 24-hour fundraiser. I'm going to be involved with that. I'm going to be on a panel discussion about atheist parenting. I'm going to be participating as a player in a D&D one-shot. We're going to do it in an hour. So Eli is going to be dungeon master for that. And so that'll be fun. And yeah, other than that, I'm looking to wrap up this semester my day job as a math teacher, and looking forward to summer. And I got some, some fun stuff planned with my family over the summer, but that's me coming up. Oh, I also got, I've also been, Helen and I have been baldering some gates and kicking some goblin ass lately. And of course, Helen is a player in the D&D campaign that I run. And we are kicking all the goblin ass guys. Like, it's just getting it's almost like it's like, it's just so simple to just dominate them, right? It's goblins are just asking to get their asses kicked. But yeah, in our D&D campaign, we've got players all over the world, and so so kind of coordinating can be difficult, but we're making progress on there.
Listen. They're ugly. Okay. Like, okay.
Still hung up on the goblins. They are ugly mofos, though.
Like, I will tell you, I'm very grateful the fact that we do have the rule that if we can't all play, we don't play. So that's a really great rule. It's one that we've stuck to, and it's perfectly fine because like it's not like I'm getting paid. I just want to hang out with my friends, and if I want to bug you, I'd be like, come on my podcast, we'll just hang out.
Yeah.
Exactly. So anyway, thank you to Scott for being on the show again. I really appreciate it. Again, please support Black non-believers. Please support the fundraiser. It's again, if you can come to the Revival of Reason in Atlanta, Georgia, June 12th to the 14th, there's going to be awesome speakers and awesome people, and I'll be there streaming and doing a bunch of fundraising shit. So I'm going to be such a pain in the ass, guys. I'm going to give for so much money. So fair warning. Thank you to Scott for being here. Everybody have a wonderful night. Scott, I will not see you backstage because I have no sound.
Okay, anyway, that's cool.
I love you.
All
Bye,
right,
guys.
have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, one more thing. Seth Andrews will be here on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and we're just going to have a conversation about like just getting to know the man.
Nice.
So we're just going to have a back and forth. Yeah, I know. It's going to be a good time, right? So come show up for that on Saturday. And then Sunday, I'm going to have Cynthia McDonald on. What me and Cynthia are going to talk about? Probably a little bit about the Revival of Reason and some other shit. So if you made it this far, mark your calendars. I will see you all later. Good night. Be kind. Stay skeptical. Give us someone a compliment. And I will see you all here Saturday. Bye.